Welcome to Yeukai Business Show, UK's premier business show where we feature business thought leaders, high achievers, and industry experts. Today's episode is brought to you by World Outsourcing Solutions Limited, a company that specializes in helping executive business owners with virtual assistant services and business growth systems. Here's your host.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. It's Trevor with you here on this episode, and I'm joined by my guest John. Now, you're going to really like this because John's a seasoned sales professional and an internet marketer. He helps businesses increase their clients and their profits, which is what we all want, isn't it, really? He's founded the company Local SEO Search. They specialize in local marketing dynamics and also consumer behavior. John also trains and mentors business owners as well, and he runs a podcast, Local SEO Today. He's here to share some of his expertise with us. So welcome, John Vuong. Great to have you.
Well, thanks a lot, Trevor. I'm excited to be on the show today. And yeah, hopefully your audience members enjoys this episode as much as I will.
Yeah, no doubt about it, I'm sure. I've already looked into you a little bit in your profile, so I know, that's a no-brainer, which is good. Maybe to kick us off with, though, tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got to where you are doing SEO.
Yeah, definitely. So I started this agency back in 2013. And so it's been over 8 years now. But prior to that, I was, like you mentioned, in sales. I was doing advertising sales from traditional advertising, online performance-based, affiliate on advertising sales. And then I worked at directory advertising sales for 5 years. And that's where I worked at Yellow Pages Group. And so people who don't know what the Yellow Pages was, it was a phone book delivered to every single home. And it was where small, medium-sized businesses had to advertise if they wanted to have any presence when people were ready to buy. Fast forward 5 years later, back in 2013, I found that there were a lot of business owners just not sure where to put their money anymore. They were getting little. People were consuming their services and products anymore. How did they shop? Why were they not getting as much return than they once did 5, 10, 20 years ago? So I myself was gravitating towards search engines. I knew if I was the normal kind of average business user, consumer, and seeking out businesses, I was always going on Google, looking on the map and below the map. And that's where I felt majority of the traffic was going to. And that's how I started this agency, because there was a need in the marketplace. The small, medium-sized business owners, frustrated, didn't want to spend more than they've ever spent before, not getting good traction, not getting a lot of customers. So I knew I needed to do something. As a sales rep, I was frontline. I saw a lot of rejection. I saw a lot of input from all these business owners that were good, hardworking, family-run, dedicated to their businesses kind of people that were community focused, understand unique value proposition, understood the product and service inside out, and their core focus was to support family, friends, community. And I knew I needed to do something, and that's how I started this agency, not knowing anything about SEO, not knowing anything about technical. I needed to help those business owners to get them more business. And so that's how I founded this company.
Wow. Okay. So it kind of out of a passion really to help people, as much as it was a change of career as such. It was more of seeing the need. People are struggling, but I can solve that, really.
Exactly.
That's really good. Yeah. So you touched on it a little bit, I think, but elaborate a little bit more for us about the local marketing sort of dynamic within a business, because like everybody's global now, more or less in some way. There's still, regional, local things as well, but let's take the local element to start with.
So what I truly believe in, and I think majority of the consumers, users, right, they Google a lot of things, depending on where they're at in terms of that journey, right? Information, when they're ready to buy, they might look at a local vendor, supplier, a local kind of search, right, with a city. But if you look at what replaced Yellow Pages, it was Google. Typically, it was keywords or a category. And it was more that signal of neighborhoods, community, or a city, right? And that's what the local stands for, because most users, me, you, majority of the population, they do searches that are global in nature, but when they're ready to buy, they're always looking for a local intent purpose, looking for a local restaurant, local retailer, local supplier to solve their need, desire, right? And therefore, while working at all these advertising channels for 10 years in sales, what I found was, business owners usually service a radius, right? Small, medium-sized businesses, they service a 10-kilometer radius upwards to 50 kilometers at max. As much as this global presence dominates the global world, like, yes, you have the Amazons, yes, you have the Walmarts, yes, you have those bigger players, but majority of the SMBs in the world service their community. They service their city, their neighborhoods. Maybe it's outlining neighborhoods or cities, but it's still localized in nature. So understanding that every single market, it's very similar to real estate, has a lot of different drivers. And with that in mind, you need to understand your business inside out, but digitally, it's a different story. So what we've done is we let them run their business. Like, these small, medium-sized businesses are great business owners. They're established generationally, maybe
Yeah.
they've been in business for 5, 10, 20 years or passed on through generations, but they knew how to take care of their customers. They understood how to service them well. They brought value to every single customer relationship. Now, but with this digital presence and all the Google world, they don't understand how it's working, right? The how does a website rank? So then I had to figure out, like, well, these business owners want it to be on that first page. Everyone wants it. But Google also will only put on X amount of first page rankings, right? It's limited. So why do these websites who appear on the first page always appear? Like, what is Google looking for? Or is it ultimately what are the users looking for? And what you need to understand is Google will try to match the best websites with the type of keywords that they feel would be the best match for that customer to continue coming back to Google, right? So the behavior is matching the user intent with websites that matter most to them. And the more you realize the whole premise of why Google ranks websites and tries to personalize and customize and making sure they store as much history and information as possible, is for you to continue going back to Google, because you feel Google's done their best job matching you with the websites that you feel would be the best interest, right? So understanding that, how do you get your website to appear more, right? More visible on that first page. So then I had to go through this whole 8-year journey to build a team, understand how to rank a website, understand what the users are looking for, what are the customers really looking for, and do it on a consistent level to then be very confident to build an agency, have a good solid track record to ensure that businesses who are spending money for SEO gets a good solid ROI. That's predictable, that is of inbound in nature, people seeking out the product and service. But what's most important is if you do a proper SEO campaign, you're going to get inbound, ready to buy customers of your ideal persona or your best paying customers. That's what an optimal SEO campaign can do for your business.
Sounds amazing. Yes, as you're explaining that, I'm thinking back historically to companies I work for, and that, and SEO can be really good or really bad, can't it? Let's be honest. Or people's experiences of SEO can be really good, really bad. For some, it's the money pit. I'm not sure I'm seeing anything back, but we're paying someone to do it, which is the bad side of it. And yeah, you're right. You can get a really good return once you've got the target to reach the audience that you want to. So from a local side of it, is one of the key areas telling Google you're there, as basic as that sounds. Is that easy to do, or do you need sort of the Google ad elements? By the way, we're not promoting Google or any of that. We don't get paid by Google, and that maybe we should explore that separately. But no, just because most people use Google, don't they? Let's use that as the example. But can you still get on the first page without paying a lot on the ad side of it if you get your keywords right, or is it a mix of two?
I feel, because I don't play in the ad world, I focus just primarily on search engine optimization, which is what business owners ultimately want. They want to be positioned naturally without paying per click, because the users know the difference when there's a paid ad or earn the placement on the map and below. And what we try to do is help those business owners position themselves as leaders, experts, or thought leaders in their niche, industry, and community with all the products and services that they want to be known for and known as, so that they are now becoming that expert in the eyes of the users, more importantly than just Google, because Google will figure it out. What you're trying to do is portray to the customers, prospects who are seeking out your product and service, that you actually know what you're doing. And that's our job. And with that in mind, yes, there's opportunity. Yes, there's competition. But you also have to realize when you are there, you actually get a lot more inbound leads, a lot more visibility, a lot more traction. Yes, there's only limited real estate, but that's also why it's very competitive in my space, but it's also a lot of growing pains and fun. I find it a very big challenge, but it's exciting when I work with someone or a business owner that understands the importance of it, that needs to do it properly, right, the first time.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Am I right in thinking that what's the minimum SEO term that you could have for small businesses maybe that are listening to us thinking, yeah, I've not got lots of spare cash, but I really understand what John's saying. We need the SEO element. What would they budget for? 3 months, 6 months, year, ongoing? Does it depend on the business size, I suppose, or what they're actually, who they're pitching to?
So my take on that, I get that question, how long, how much, and when will I get results? On a daily basis, dozens of times, right? And these are things that I need to throw out there on podcasts and speaking and everything that I talk about. Is the longevity of it is, it all depends on your situation, where you're sitting versus where your competitors are, and which keywords do you want to rank for, right? Because if you're a dentist in a big city like London, or I live in Toronto, and you're just starting, brand new company, brand new website, versus someone that's been doing SEO for 10 years. Realistically, do you think that's going to have an impact in a month, 3 months, or 6 months, or a year? Think about it, right? Yeah. So you have to be realistic about your KPIs, about your metrics, and about what your plans are, right? In terms of price point, I always say you pay for what you get. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But what my take on it is, you need to go with someone that actually has a proven track record, knows what they're doing, and fills in the gap of what you don't know how to do yourself, right? We're full service in terms of an SEO agency. So when we take on a client, we don't need them to work on any of it, right? And that's independent on other people. Like, yes, we take on the content, we take on the SEO strategy, we take on keyword research, we take on social media, we take on link building, we take on reputation. All these matter for a proper SEO campaign. So if you want to do it yourself, do you want to be an expert at doing it? Or do you want to run your business to hire people to do things you don't like? Because it's very stressful, and it's a lot of A/B testing and a lot of tactics, right? Not one tactic will go the right way either. And then in terms of budget, I'm going to mention this. You can get people to pay $100, or you can get people to pay $100,000, right? It all depends on where your comfort level is and what you believe it's valued at, right? So take a look at the pricing, what you're paying for, and what you get from it, and is it reasonable for your company, agency, or your business at this time? And should you go into SEO or not? These are questions that I always pose and ask, because we are honest. We're very transparent and authentic. We tell people how it is. And I say, sometimes you're not even ready for SEO. Give us a couple years, learn your business before reaching out to an agency. Or we say, you're ready. I think this is what a package would be good for your kind of business. And this is how long you should do it. And this is when you start getting traction, right? That's what we can do, because we have a lot of years in with track record to show proof, right? So those are, kind of answers that I always tell people when they reach out to us.
Yeah, no, that's really good. A couple of things on that. I was just thinking, it's music to the ears of a lot of business owners to know that somebody will deal with all of that element. Just most people don't get in business to then have to learn about accounts, SEO, and all the other stuff, do they? They leverage the skills of other people because they can then focus on what they like. So I think that's a really good point. Also, you touched on sometimes companies aren't ready for that. So elaborate a little bit more on that. Is that more an understanding of the types of keywords that they want to use, that their audience would sort of listen to, search for? What would be other things that would need to happen before they're ready to start maybe an SEO campaign?
I always tell people when you're ready to do an SEO campaign, you know how to run a business and you have revenue and you have your ideal type of client already in place. Like you already have 10 best clients that you want to go after, more so than ever, right? You have that profile and persona in place. And you already know how to take care of a client because they're repeating or they're spending a lot in terms of referrals and word of mouth. Like people know that you know how to run a business. I don't want to teach people how to run a business. I want to work with great established businesses that are experts in their own right? There's dentists, lawyers, plumbers. They spend so many years in training, in school, working as apprentice or working under the man, right? The boss, for a while before they invest in their own business. So they plan on being in business for 5, 10, 20 more years. They're not just in it for a short term or it's a side hustle. So you got to be serious when you're looking at serious investment in SEO because it is a serious business, right? And I always refer as renting versus owning. When you own real estate on Google, you get a lot of inbound leads. But if you start renting space, anyone could pay to play in Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google. But there's a perception in place as well. And the users, the prospects who are seeing those ads, you pay to play, of course, because that's the fastest, easiest way to get on the search engine, right? But you yourself, do you actually click on ads or do you want to be looking for websites that are earned and you trust them and you feel like they've already done their best job in Google's eyes and your users, customers' eyes to be on that first page? So think about all these factors because it makes a big decision when you're seeking out an SEO provider, when you're ready in your business journey as well. Because if you're early stages, you might not be prepared and ready for the investment. But as you proceed and grow, then that's when you mature and understand what your bandwidth is, what your capacity and capabilities are, and your strengths and weaknesses. Don't continually working in your business, but on your business, you look at it differently. And this is another subset of like marketing as a whole. SEO is one pillar of it.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Would there be any bearing on, say, for somebody that's thinking about SEO, so maybe different social media platform, they've got a really big Instagram following or Facebook, whatever might be, and they'll, they want to hit Google more so that people that aren't on those platforms still find the business as well. Is there any way that a big, say, Instagram following would favor somebody that's starting SEO, or is it not? Would Google ignore that element, or does that count in their favor?
So in terms of marketing, my take is understand where your customers or prospects are seeking out and absorbing content. And if it is through search engines, focus on your website as your biggest asset. And I still believe owning your website is the most critical thing anyone should be doing. Because if you're playing on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you don't own that asset piece. Yeah. You're leveraging your business profile, and anytime they can ban you, just like what happened to Donald Trump. He banned all those millions of people that was following him. Well, that doesn't really bode well if you've never established your own database and community or people that actually follow you and they trust you enough to provide them your email and contact information and all that other information that's required.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So just maybe before, let's jump out of the SEO element just briefly, because I was quite curious about one of the areas that you focus on being consumer behavior. And you've kind of touched on the fact that we like things locally or within a certain radius of where we are. Any other elements to consumer behavior that, maybe we haven't even thought about that you could share that might actually help us just in how we approach things?
Yeah, I think the big thing is Google has a lot of data. Voice has a lot of data. Everyone's asking questions today, right? On search engines, on Google Home or Alexa or whatnot. And there's a lot of information out there. So there's a lot of trends. There's a lot of forecasts. There's a lot of data out there. There's a lot of tools and software that can predict which keywords you should go after because there's volume or there's no volume. So in terms of understanding that and then playing where people are actually searching for products and services that are in alignment with the products that you want to be known for or services you want to be known for, it gives you more clout to then position yourself. So that's what SEO is about, not just doing it a one-time fix. It's an ongoing, consistent basis to position yourself as a thought leader. And that does not happen overnight. It takes time for yourself to be established. And what we try to do is all that. We do a lot of strategy. We do a lot of keyword research. We do a lot of Google trending. We do a lot of competitive analysis. We figure things out through this whole framework and system that we've built out to really position you with a product that you're going to be proud of, a website that brings in a lot of traffic, but resonates with the audience members that are seeking out your product and service, like ready to buy people that need your product and service. So if we have these people excited for your product and service on a daily basis, you can focus heavily on just running your business, which is why you started your business in the first place.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Any other social media trends or elements that maybe you've got insight in that we haven't even thought about that would maybe then factor into how we approach our marketing or how we change our marketing?
Yeah, I know during this pandemic, this COVID world, things have changed. Behaviors have changed. People are spending more time than ever in front of a computer, in front of their smartphone devices, tablet, iMac, or whatever it is, different devices, right? And they're spending more time doing due diligence, research before they actually buy. So there's a huge opportunity to be, building some more visibility online. And where are they consuming information? Okay, yes, there's social media. There's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, different, TikTok or whatever social media platforms. Sure, you can go out there, pay for ads. You can build your own profile and hopefully boost it with comments and all that. Are they your type of people, consumers, but customers actively buying your product and service? So if they are, sure, invest a lot of time creating great, compelling content, videos, images to speak to them. Right? Audience profile. Yeah. But if they're not, then where are your customers seeking out your product and service? Is it traditional media? Because no longer are there trade shows, Zoom meetings. Is it flyers, newspaper, magazines, newspapers, radio, television, all these things? Or is it new technology, YouTube videos, podcasts, infographics, Instagram, whatever? Understand where your customers are absorbing content and be there when they are looking or seeking out your product and service. Always be top of mind. And throughout that journey, they're going to have questions. So be ready for them to at least know that you exist throughout that journey. And with search, I think when people are ready, they typically want to be in control. And that's why Google is still the number one medium of choice for business owners to actively, have ownership in the whole journey. Like, you don't have to pay for ads. You can earn a lot of traffic by creating great content that speaks to your audience number. Creating great videos. Yes, YouTube is also a search engine. And maybe that resonates with that audience members who's consuming a lot of video on YouTube, right? But a blog can really make an impact if it's well-researched, in-depth, position you as a thought leader with a lot of data. It supports your cause and there's a lot of traffic that comes out of it. So understand the power of what search can do for your business, and it will, be a great asset piece if done right for your business.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense as well. Yeah, we're coming to the end of the discussion a little bit, but we've got time for a couple more questions, which is really good because I'm enjoying all of this. So just run through again. You've got the whole team, haven't you? So for somebody that's listening that maybe they've had the website for years, it ticks along, it's not lively, doesn't get much engagement. People kind of think we actually need to do something different. What would their first step be? Would it be sort of have a conversation, say, this is where we are, this is where we want to go, what would it take? Would you sort of then potentially revamp the whole website or change certain bits, add a blog or something like that, and then optimize it that way? I guess that's probably quite a wide question because every business is different. But what would be someone's journey that are approaching you to see how you could help them? That's probably the easiest way of saying it.
Yeah, I think the first thing is understanding that there's a need in your business to be more prominent on search, right? Understanding your website hasn't been worked on and there's a gap there. And you have to acknowledge that there's competition taking away some of your leads, right? Your prospects or customers. So when you establish that, then you can, reach out to me or any other SEO provider to then go through that whole journey of what can they do for me at this moment. Yes, we take a look at your website. Yes, we do benchmark. We look at your competitors. We look at what the gaps are. We look at different things like your website. What's the engagement, click-through rate, conversion rate? What's your content like? What's your profile looking like? What's your authority like right now? What can we do to really amp you up so that you are now competitive in the marketplace like your major competitors? And that's what this whole system that we built and framework so that we have a predictable, ongoing lead gen, inbound, ready to buy customers, which is coming to your website. Because if you do it properly, and from a lot of trial and errors and a lot of clients that we've worked on, we have a system now. We know what we can do that's more predictable. And when you can do it at scale and we know what can be done, we're confident that we can help majority of the business owners by just being honest and letting them know this is typically what we would do. And you can take that and go with someone else, or you can inquire and figure out what would be suitable for you. But now it's up to you to decide, right? And we don't like selling. We want people to be ready and they know what they want. And we're looking for great relationship partners that people know that, when they partner with us, they're going to get great service, great results, great ROI, and not be, there's no gaps in missing, right? Because everything is done properly, the right way the first time.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yes, my understanding of SEO before we were chatting, there's limited in different ways, and it's one of those things. It's like most other things, isn't it? There's so many things that change over a period of time. Like Google might change its algorithm, or your competitors suddenly hired an SEO company and now they're ranking higher, and nobody's coming to you, but they're all going to them. There's timing, isn't there? There's information that changes as well, and other things which you guys would have insider knowledge and spot earlier than what the average business owner that isn't, aware or focused on that, because, as you say, we're working on the bits that actually make us, or what we're passionate about. So
exactly, it's when you're in the pulse of your business, like you are so in it, like as a business owner, you get what's going on. Well, we're in the digital space, so we get to go to conference. We understand the competitive landscape, the keywords, what's going on in terms of the Google algorithm and all these things that are competing, always trying to, and other SEO agents are also competing, right? Like we're battling all the time. So that's what you don't have to worry about. Like you pay for expertise for that. So, when you're ready, that's when you seek out experts.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So the strategies that people might have had even 6 months ago, they're not necessarily working for you now because things change. And it's worth pointing out because we can so easily get into a pattern of, this is what I do. This is how we deal with that. And unless we look at it or get experts in, we don't necessarily know it's not working, which is to our detriment, really, isn't it? So, no, that's really good. So you're currently Local SEO Search, but you're not just focused on Canadian clients in your region, are you? You can help anybody, but as you've mentioned at the start, the focus is more on, let's try and get the people in your vicinity, in your locality, depending on the type of business. But get them plugged in so they know who you are, why you're there, and what you can offer, that kind of thing. So that's really good. So first port of call, I guess, for people that want to find out more would be head to the website first.
Yes, Local SEO Search.ca. Yes, we're based in Toronto, Canada, but we service clients all over North America, UK, and Australia. We actually enjoy, majority of our clients, 80% are the small, medium-sized businesses. 20% is more B2B, global, international in nature. But 80%, and that's my lifeline. I love supporting them because they're the hardest working business people in the world. And I love what it takes to run a business. Dedication, passion, purpose, everything that molds a community is brought to you by the small, medium-sized business owners. So I resonate with them. I want to support and help them as much as I can. And what I've done was I brought the big, huge brand SEO service offerings to the small, medium-sized business owners so that they can dominate the space at a price point that makes sense, where both of us can profit and really, scale and grow their business, right? Like that's my whole intent. Give value, make sure that they can see a significant jump, and we're still both prospering at the end of
it. Yeah. I like the way you put that. It's the SEO is a long-term thing if it's done well. So why would you partner with a company that isn't interested in the small man, the small business, medium-sized business? It makes no sense, does it? And you can tell as you're talking, you're very passionate about it. Not just about the actual content, the technical side of it, but also helping businesses get their message out, which is really good. That in itself, I think, is great marketing. So one last thing before we go, there'll be a link to the site below wherever you're listening to this, by the way. So just click through that and explore more about what John's services offer. But you also do a podcast as well. Tell us just that as we close, tell us just briefly about that. Is it you talking directly? Do you get guests on there? What are the topics you cover?
Yeah, so this podcast is called Local SEO Today. It was actually started 2.5 years ago because I wanted to test out a new platform, Medium, because the website SEO was only website. Podcast is a different audio stream, and I'm going to start working on YouTube channel, which is a different platform. But with podcasting, the reason I did this and started this was people are driving to work. They might listen to the audio. And the reason I created Local SEO Today was speaking to the business owners, working with thousands of them over the years. I've learned a lot of tips and tricks and how to do things. And me and my VP of sales, which had worked at Yellow Pages for 30 plus years, we've worked with tens of thousands of business owners, real business owners with real specific niches, categories. And we've probably worked with a lot of competitors, like industry competitors, right? And it's a lot of fun because, it's just another avenue of people where we can help impact. Yes, we have guests now because after 100 episodes of these tips and tricks, we didn't know what else to talk about. So now we bring in some guests, and it's also a lot of fun. Like it's another channel of communication, and it's always about doing what you're passionate about, which is always giving and helping. And that's what I've strived to do the last 8 years.
Yeah. No, I like that. Yeah. You can tell you found your niche, haven't you? You definitely have. So brilliant. Time is upon us, so we do need to wrap this episode up. But thank you for what you shared, John. I'm sure everybody listening has learned some stuff. And if they've taken nothing else away so far, my opinion, such as it is, but I'll share it anyway. Why would we try and do the hard work if there's somebody out there that can hit the ground running, help us, and we can just allow them to focus on it? They're the experts. That's the sort of thing we do, isn't it? We leverage the services of others. So for everybody listening, if any of that resonates with you, definitely check out John's website. Just explore. Maybe check out a few podcast episodes first and listen to see what they're talking about. And if it's something that you want to pursue further, then have a chat with John. But there's certainly practical things that we've shared today which you can think about. Maybe it's reclassing. What are the words that I would use in myself? And if we then go to SEO, what would we use for that? If you're at the first stages, you have to think about stuff a bit more and then maybe approach John and say, hey, this is what we've got. Does any of that make sense? If not, help us make something beautiful out of all the mess that we've got. That was a bit artistic, wasn't it? Nice way to finish an episode. Thanks again, John. Appreciate your time and for sharing the expertise. And for everybody listening, bye for now. We will catch you on the next episode.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you for listening to Yeukai Business Show. We will be back to bring you more episodes with success stories and advice straight from the experts. Want more? Check out www.yeukai.businessshow.com. Get your free trial of our virtual assistant service today. Just visit www.worldoutsourcingsolutions.com. Quote WOS18 or send us an email at support@worldoutsourcingsolutions.com.